Why do you think that Black audiences are so small in classical music?
It's a matter of exposure. If I were not exposed to the concerts at Lewiston Stadium and my sister's piano lessons and going to concerts at Carnegie and Town Hall and listening to QXR. At that time, it was the New York Times radio station, but it was still the same classical format. If that were not my exposure, then that would not be a language that I could relate to. If you're not exposed to something, then you will relate to the language that you're exposed to. And most homes, most African-American homes, do not as a habit listen to classical music. They haven't been shown the possibility. And also, they don't see role models. That is something that has infuriated me. I was going to say irked, but it's not irked, it's infuriated me that people like, I knew a French hornist, we'll have one excellent one here later on, but Julius Watkins was one of the greatest French horn players I have ever met in my entire life. But he was black, so that he couldn't get a hearing at the New York Philharmonic. But I'll tell you something. In one of my lifetimes, I was in advertising. If you Google, you'll find what that was about. But I did a commercial where I wanted a French horn pyramid. And so I hired the first and second horn players from the Philharmonic and Julius Watkins. And he played them under the table. They could not believe his virtuosity. He played jazz on the French horn. Now, if anyone is familiar with the French horn, you know, just playing the French horn is an accomplishment. He played jazz on it, but he could not be arrested. There was an obituary today. I'm sorry to see that my friend Don Shirley just passed away, and he played the Tchaikovsky with the Boston Pops Orchestra, but couldn't get arrested in getting management. Had to revise what he played. Hazel Scott, another example. We were not allowed to become part of the mainstream. Only a few, like Paul Robeson, until they decided they didn't like his politics. Marian Anderson, but of course you know what happened when she went to Washington. They refused to let her perform until they made Eleanor Roosevelt made us think about it and resigned from the Daughters of American Revolution. There's American Revolution. But you cannot really appreciate the frustration that is put in front of talented black children when they see that, why go that route when they're going to stop me? While that still goes on, look at the orchestras in the country. How many black players are there? Is it because they don't have the talent? Come on. Wynton Marsalis was a great classical trumpeter before he became the great jazz leader that he is now. But that same level of ability exists if only it is given exposure and permission and support and networking so that it can become relevant to that great pool of talent that we still have not yet tapped.
This is All Ears, a special edition, live here in the Greene space.